Listen, a few weeks ago, kind of continuing on with our Shannon, Malcolm Daniels introductions, right? I got introduced to Gina, and probably one of the people that I fell in love with her story when I was reading her background, and Shannon sent me over some stuff, and she's got an incredible background. Has definitely overcome some things herself to get to where she's at, right, as a woman in business. And I'm so happy that she's here to share with us today a little bit of that story, but also a little bit of what she's been teaching people to do. So without any further ado, guys, give it up for Gina Martin.
Yay. Thank you for the love and the kind introduction, Rodney.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I am so grateful to be here with you today, and I love sharing this topic. I think that as high achievers, go-getters, and individuals, we are always so focused on the go, 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 and sometimes we have a little bit of a hard time slowing down and identifying what might be getting in the way, right? What might be draining our energy. And the work I'm going to share with you today is work that I've been doing for the past 5 years around energy leadership. And it's a concept that I'll share with you guys today. But it's really about understanding what impacts your energy and how to manage those factors so that you can maximize each moment that you have and obviously become more effective and productive and therefore more fulfilled. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I always love to tell people that my journey began at the age of 18 when I immigrated to the US. I had a toddler in my arms, $300 in my pocket. I had no idea how to speak English. But I was in love, and my boyfriend and I wanted to have a better family, a better future for our family. So we immigrated here, and boy, little did I know what I was getting myself into. It was a lot of work. It took a lot of resilience, a lot of drive and determination through a lot of dead-end jobs to finally land my first opportunity as a supervisor in retail, where I was able to build an incredible career of 20 years leading teams of up to 600 people and driving stores from $1 million to $100 million in sales a year. Worked for companies such as Victoria's Secret, Gap, Guess, Intermix, and left an incredible legacy over 20 years in retail. In 2019, I found myself in transition, and for the first time, I lost my job. And as you might tell, it's tough for high achievers because we tend to tie our identity to our careers. So when I lost my job, it was like losing a part of me. It really impacted my confidence, my ability to feel self-worth. But the opportunity allowed me to really think about what I wanted to do next and realizing that what I loved doing the most was coaching, training, developing my team, and helping them, tap into their potential. And that's when I decided to become an executive coach. And I am embarking all of my training certifications to start in my business. And in 2019, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Sorry, 2021. So after 2 years of starting my career, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Had to pause, but I was grateful for my coach training because it definitely enabled me to empower myself through that journey. Restarted my business again after treatment, and I am here with you today, 3 years in remission. So really excited to be sharing my journey with you all today. And why is my journey relevant? One of the things that I do as a coach is I help high achieving clients maximize their potential through regaining their confidence after a big transition, through embracing the story, because all of us have powerful stories, and to help them elevate their executive presence so that they can attract the possibilities for themselves that they want. So today we're going to be talking about energy leadership, and I'm curious to hear from you and love to see in the chat, what will be one thing that you're hoping to learn today through this managing your energy process? So put in the chat, what is one thing you are hoping to learn? And if you want to shout it out, feel free to do so as well. This is a great interactive group, so go for it. So energy management, what would you like to learn today? Okay. How is managing energy versus managing time accomplished? Love it. Increase productivity. Yeah, thank you for sharing. How to get my focus on over checking the box. All right, so over checking the box. High achievers there. All right, how to apply the principles. Yeah, staying energetic, balancing work life. Yeah, balancing your energy. Oh my goodness. How to control your thoughts, which you, oh yes, totally. You know, it is said that our thoughts drive our feelings, right? And our feelings drive our actions, right? So when you think about if we're able to empower ourselves in what's coming up on our thoughts, then we can feel much better so we can take the proper actions. So I love that. So let's talk a little bit about this idea of energy. And let me share my screen real quick. Let's see. I'm going to share some of my slides here. Now let me move this a little bit so you can see better. Here we go. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what drains your energy. So each of us can view the same situation and be impacted in a very different way, right? So what might drain my energy might not be the same. But I'd love to see in the chat, what are some of the thoughts that come to mind when it comes to energy drains? So what drains your energy? I say, just throw anything in there. You can shout it out too. Negative thoughts. Yes. Lack of sleep. Negative people. Oh, yes. Toxic people. Yeah. Your kids. Yeah. Overcommitment. Boy, those kids have a lot of energy. Overcommitment. Yeah, totally. Managing too many decisions. Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that. Getting old. Oh, yeah. Heck. Long meetings. Oh, my gosh. Never ending Zoom meetings, right? That are boring. Heck yeah, that drains your energy. Let me share with you a little visual. So you guys see my little paper here? Yeah, awesome. Okay. So what you see here is our energy. So on any given day, we wake up with 100% energy. That's it. We all have the same amount of energy every morning. Now, on a typical day, this is how that energy might be used. You get up and you realize that the alarm did not go off. The power went out last night and your phone did not charge. So now you are late and some of that energy is spent because you're stressed, you're late. So you start getting ready, you run around, you go get dressed, you actually have a meeting in person on that given day, and you go to make some coffee and you realize your spouse forgot to get the milk. So now you got to have coffee without milk, or maybe not have any coffee at all. So there goes more of your energy. So you get in the car and you're rushing because you have this important meeting. And when you get in the car, you realize your spouse used it again. And guess what? They didn't fill up gas. And now you have to go to the gas station. So there goes a little more energy. So you finally get in your way and you're in traffic. Oh my gosh, a traffic jam in the turnpike. You're driving down 95, Road 7, 27, no milk. Oh, yes, 3 times the sugar. I love that, Joe. Let's put more sugar. But that energy is getting drained, and you're driving, and these people don't know how to drive. Oh my gosh, and now I'm late, and there goes more of your energy. Oh my gosh, you finally make it to the office. You get to the office, you're late for this meeting, and you realize your boss send you an email that you're supposed to be doing the first 30 minutes of this meeting, but you're not prepared. And now you got, oh my goodness, even more energy draining. So you get into the meeting, you finally make it through the meeting, get into your office, you sit down, you think you're going to have your nice cup of coffee. And all of a sudden you realize that you have lost one of your biggest clients and there's nothing you can do. And you lost that client. Oh my goodness. And there goes more of the energy. And now it's 12 o'clock. And this is about what's left of your energy. How do you think the rest of your day is going to go?
Not well.
Is that exaggerating? Or did you guys think that somehow this could go in your life, like this could happen. Tell me if I'm off track here. Maybe not the same scenario, right? Yeah, right. It happens. So I want you to think of how important it is for us to manage our energy. Now, here's what happened. We all have these filters that we develop, based on our upbringing, our education, our life experiences. These are filters that we've developed, and these filters impact the way in which we view the world, right? In which we view situations, challenges. Those filters become kind of like color glasses. Okay, so if you think that I have like pink color glasses and I put them on, the world is going to look pink, right? But if I have these glasses and they're blue, the world will look blue. So what happens is with these filters and the influence they have in how we view situations and challenges in our life, they're going to impact how we react. So I might not impact to traffic in the same way that you do. But the important point here is that we identify what are those filters and why are they impacting the way you view the situations, so you can start managing your energy. So why is it important to manage your energy? Because I know one of you, we're sharing in the chat, is like, okay, I want to know what's the difference, right? Like, how do I manage energy versus time? And, definitely, why is it important? Because we have these filters out, and then the filters that I'm sharing with you, they form the basis of our belief system and the way we view and approach situations. Now, in many instances, these filters help us achieve success, but in other aspects, they can be very limiting and they can create tension and impact our energy. These filters actually shape the way we show up, and they affect our reactions and responses to situations and people in all aspects of life. So to my point, being able to be aware, right, and how these filters impact your life, your energy, your productivity. When you're aware, you're able to choose, right? How do you want to show up? And how do you want to be able to use all of your available energy so you can improve your wellness, right? Managing your energy will help you improve your wellness. It will help you feel more energized. It will help you decrease the stress levels, because one of our biggest energy drainers is stress. Doing this work would also help you enhance relationship and show up as your best for yourself and for others. And of course, it would increase your productivity, right? Because think about this. If you are at the middle of your day and the only thing that's left is the 10%, then how are you going to be able to be productive the rest of the day? So I'd love for us to do our first chat exercise. And we can do a couple of rooms, Rodney, if you want. And this will be the discussion. I'd love to invite you all to create some awareness around what is draining your energy. And I'm going to give you some factors. So there are factors that impact our energy. And those factors are environment, spiritual, mental, physical, social. So if you think about an environmental factor that might impact you, it might be let's say, for instance, you work from home and your home office is smack in the middle of everything, and you don't have that break in between what it feels to be, in your regular life and what it feels to be at work, right? And everything is kind of convoluted because you haven't been able to have a great space. That's an example in how the environment might impact your productivity and your energy. Maybe you're someone that is highly organized. Maybe you love organization, right? And you start your day and you get to your desk and your desk is a disaster. Somebody used it. That's another environmental factor that might impact your energy. So that's an example. The social impact could be you're not realizing that maybe you're not you're not building relationships. I know you're here today because you crave connection, right? You're here today because you want to be a part of a community of high achievers, right? And support each other. And if we're not giving ourselves, if we love that social piece, right? And we are extroverts, but we're not giving ourselves opportunity for that social connection, that might impact your energy. The spiritual is not about faith or religion. It's about values. If you're in conflict with values, let's say you're in a toxic environment at work, right? And you're having to show up every day in a toxic culture, more likely you're in conflict with your values, right? Because you're not aligned with how the culture is. So it's important to review your values and say, wait a minute, am I aligning myself in situations and people that are in congruency with my values? So that's one factor. And the mental is your thoughts. And some of you talked about your thoughts. Maybe are your thoughts, your negative thoughts are getting in the way and are draining your energy, your self-doubt. Am I really going to make it through that interview? What are they going to think? I really need that interview. Or are they going to think I'm confident, right? Like all that mental chatter. Am I going to be viewed as the great candidate that I am, right? So all of that is a mental influencer. And the physical influencer is how you're feeling, right? Some of us are getting older, our knees are hurting, right? So are you doing things to take care of your physical? Sometimes it's hydration. So that is a drainer, right? So your hydration, having the time to disconnect, to recharge. I think a lot of us, when we're under stress, we keep on pushing, 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 and we don't realize that it's important to stop and recharge. So here are the 5 that I talked about. So I talked about social, environment, spiritual, mental, and physical. So I want you guys with those 5 to go in a breakout room for a few minutes. You decide how much time we have, Rodney. But even if it's 3 to 5 minutes where we can chat about, out of those 5, which one is draining your energy the most, and share it with the group. Does that sound good?
Sounds great. I've got them opened up, guys. I will see you guys back here in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Let's go. Welcome back, everyone. And there was some real good discussions. Oh my goodness. And I love for you guys to share in the chat. Love to see what were some of those factors. Was it environment, mental, physical, social, spiritual? What were some of those things you identify? And I have a couple of things that I learned through the discussion we were having that I definitely want to share with you. I think too much. Everything impacts. And I think it's important that we get to the root cause, right? Because the idea in what we're covering here today is to increase your self-awareness. That's the first goal. Increase your self-awareness in what's draining your energy. So that then we can come up with some strategies to help you overcome that. But there was a discussion that we were talking about around, the negative thoughts getting in the way and influencing, right? Your energy and influencing how you're showing up. So one thing when it comes to negative thoughts, right, and all of these things, and maybe is that you're experiencing this throughout the day. What's going to go wrong today? Like that might be how you start your day, right? And what else could happen? How much worse can it get? Like all of those negative thoughts that might come up in the morning. So you have to identify those. And sometimes they come in the middle of the night. Sometimes you wake up at 3 a.m. How am I going to support my family? How am I going to make it through this? Am I going to get through the next interview, right? So that might happen sometimes. So it's important that you identify those thoughts and put them down in paper. Okay. And I'm not talking about journaling. I'm not talking about a woo-woo, because I know you guys are going to say this is all like woo-woo, right? But here's what I'm going to say. A best practice I share with clients is doing a brain dump. So if you put anything in place, this will be something you want to try. One of my biggest challenges through transition was the constant worry, right? Because you worry about supporting your family. So what I want you to think about is before you go to bed, allow yourself about 20 minutes of decompression time before bed. And in those 20 minutes, I want you to think about everything that's coming up for you and write it down. This was a practice that started for me to help me dump what was in my head, but it almost became like a to-do, like a follow-up. So I want this list for you to be whatever it is. Maybe it is dumping your negative thoughts. Maybe it is writing about your thoughts, writing about your feelings. Maybe it is, wow, I was supposed to follow up with this lead that might potentially give me a job and I forgot. I have to go pay the water bill. Oh my God, I forgot I was going to have to do this, right? So I want you to do this brain dump before you get into bed. Because what happens is what wakes you up in the night, right? Worry and stress is that we go to bed and we haven't really cleared all the tabs. You know, when you open your computer and you have all these tabs open and it drives you crazy? Those are energy drainers. So when you think about your brain or your iPhone and you see why is my energy draining so far, you know, my battery draining so fast, is because we have all these tabs open. I want you to close those tabs right before you go to bed. I want you to try this. And here's the deal. Try it for 7 days. Okay. To build consistent habits, it takes at least 14 days, right? But I want you to give this a try for the next 7 days and see what happens for you. Because what I found, and what some of my clients have found, is that you wake up in the morning and now you don't feel as drained because you know, I already put all my thoughts. I dumped all my thoughts in there last night. I'm just going to follow up. Was there anything in there that I need to go do? Oh, let me go take care of it. So now you're empowering yourself, right? Because you created this list. But I want to continue to move us forward. And I want to share with you, for the sake of the work that we're doing today, is, you know, I know all of us probably want more energy. Let me send this here. And I'd love for you to answer in the chat. Do you want more energy? Right? Let's put it in the chat. Who wants more energy? So, yes, most of us do want more energy, but I want you to think about what type of energy. And here is what I want to share with you. I have been doing this work for the past 5 years through my school, which is called IPEC, is my coaching school. But it is this concept of energy leadership. And through the work that they've done for the past 25 years, analyzing the types of energy, is they found that there are two types of energy that we experience on any given day. One is anabolic energy, and one is catabolic energy. And I'm going to give you the differences for that because it's important to identify the type of energy. So anabolic is a constructive building up force. It is associated with less stress. And this happens because when the brain isn't under stress, it tells the body to release anabolic hormones, and they are designed to optimize our systems. As a result, it is easier to focus on solutions. It is easier to tap into creativity and experience a more complete and conscious view of situations. The less judgment and fear people have about themselves and situations, the more anabolic energy they can access. Now, catabolic energy, on the other hand, is destructive. It's a tearing down force. It is often associated with stress. When someone perceives a situation as being stressful, the brain creates catabolic hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. The purpose of these hormones is to break down the body's cells and tissues and provide more energy to push through stress. While people can work really well under stress and experience short-term success, the long-term impact can be draining and impacting your level of fulfillment and satisfaction. This is when you hear people say, oh, I work really well under stress. I'm sure you guys have heard that phrase in the past, right? Yes, you might want to work really well under stress, but it's not sustainable. And that's that's the point I'm trying to make here is when you want more energy, I want you to think about what type of energy you want. And remember, these energies are not positive or negative. They both serve a purpose, right? They both serve a purpose, but it's important to understand that catabolic energy might serve you in a situation where, maybe God forbid, you're crossing the street and cars going to run you over and you're jumping back, right? Like that is catabolic energy, but in that sense, you're using it for that. Or maybe you have to push through a situation and you need to tap into that, but it's not sustainable. So I want you to be aware. So here's the next thing for you to be aware. First is your drainers. And the next thing is the energy, right? The type of energy that you're experiencing. We know that the more anabolic energy you can tap into, then the more fulfilled, the more in the flow you will be as opposed to under stress. So that's the difference there. And I'm going to share with you a cool concept. And today I'm just going to touch the surface of this because this is work that I do with clients much further. But it is something called the energetic self-perception chart. This is a small thing. You're welcome to take a screenshot of this, but I'm actually going to walk you through what does that look like, okay? So feel free to take a screenshot of that. There are 7 levels of energy that we experience in any given day. And the chart, as you can see here, has the 7 levels, with 1 being in the center and 7 being at the top. I am going to take you through each of these levels really quickly so you understand how the levels go. But feel free, like I said, you can take a screenshot of that. So level 1, your core thought when you're experiencing that level 1 energy is victim. Your feeling is apathy. And your action is loyalty. So for instance, people experiencing level 1 energy tend to feel fear, worry, overwhelm, doubt, and any other emotion associated with powerlessness. As a result of seeing the situation being done to them, the tendency is to withdraw or to avoid, and therefore disengage. People experiencing this level often feel stuck. I'm going to move us to level 2. So level 2, the core thought here is conflict. So people are level 2. They see the situations as black or white, right or wrong. They come from a win-lose type of frame, and they often feel anger, resentment, entitlement, frustration. And when somebody's approaching situations from level 2, the tendency is to take charge and control of a situation to ensure a win. So that's a level of conflict. That's how we identify it. Level 3, the core thought is responsibility. This is when people rationalize, okay? So this is when they start feeling a little bit of forgiveness. They start to cooperate. This is when we hear people say, okay, it is what it is. I'm just going to push through and make sure that we have, an outcome or a desired result. So this level is a mix of anabolic and catabolic energy. And this is when you start kind of moving into a place of more anabolic energy. But the caution with level 3 is you want to make sure that you're not tolerating situations that don't serve you. So that is the challenge. So when you think about level 3 and you hear yourself saying, you know what, that's just the way they do things. That's who they are. I'm just gonna, just let it be and I'm gonna move forward. When you hear yourself saying those things, you're probably experiencing that level 3 energy. And then we're going to move us to 4, 5, and 6. These are the higher anabolic levels. And energy 4 is this is the energy of service. This is when you're so given and your focus is on helping and supporting others. And level 4 energy feels selfless. A lot of leaders, mothers, people that are caregivers, they're resonating at this level. People that experience level 4, they tend to be great problem solvers. And people come to them, right, for support. The feelings associated here are compassion, gratitude, caring, and trust, conditional love. As a result, people that are experiencing level 4, they come from a heart space. But here's the caveat. It is important to remember that you can't just give, and not take care of yourself. And this level is also associated, okay, with self-care. You ever heard of that saying, when you get on the airplane, if the oxygen masks come down, make sure you put that oxygen mask on you first, right? And I think that this is the conflict here, that sometimes if we don't take care of ourselves first, and we don't set boundaries, level 4 just becomes an energy drainer too. So I want you to think about that. It's great to be a giver, and I see that a lot in dynamics with partners and spouses, even partnerships. Two founders, sometimes one is more given than the other, and if you're not co-creating a relationship and you guys are not working together, one is always the one that's doing more, right, and bringing in more. So I want you to be conscious of that. So we're going to go to level 5, and then we're going to stop there because I want to make sure we have time for questions. So level 5, the idea here is that it's all about reconciliation. It's all about peace. It's acceptance. This is the level of win-win, okay? This is when people that are experiencing this level see the situations as an opportunity, okay? This is the level where life throws something your way and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to make lemonade. I'm actually just going, I'm not going to make lemonade out of other lemons. I'm just going to accept the lemons for what they are. And that's the difference there. As a result of experiencing this level of energy, there's a sense of peace, confidence, because every situation and outcome is viewed as an opportunity to learn. So when a door closes, right, you get a rejection from an interview, you see it as, hey, this is the universe telling me this was not the right opportunity for me and something else is coming. Or when there's a mistake, you say, hey, there was a mistake made. What did we learn from that? Let's readjust the plan. So that's the power of level 5, that it puts you in a place where you're now seeing the world from a very different place. And therefore, you're not, as stressed, you're not as judgmental, and therefore you are able to start creating this win-win perspective with everyone. So I know I share a lot today, and I saw that some of you started talking about the levels on the chat. Somebody said, oh, I think JJ, I'm a mix of 4 and 2, right? Yes. So you start seeing how the levels might show up in your life. And I think when you think about how to overcome this, I've given you this idea of a brain dump at night, but I also want to give you this idea of putting into practice what I said I wasn't going to tell you to do, which is journaling. All right, if you're not doing some journaling right now, I'm going to tell you it's impactful. And it doesn't have to be a to-do. It doesn't have to be a fancy notebook. It could just be a phone like this. And I'm going to put in an exercise in the chat for you that you can exercise. Because here's the deal. In order for us to be at a place where we can gain back energy in the middle of the day, we have got to be able to stop. And what we see happens is that we see people start a day in a bad note, right? And the day just keeps on getting worse. And you get to noon, you got 10% of that battery. And instead of stopping, you just keep going. So you're not showing up at your best. You're not showing up, in a powerful state. You're also not making the right decisions. Because what happens is when you're under stress, your decision making is not conscious. And I want you to take your power back and to make more conscious choices for yourself. So I want you to see the power in stopping. That's the next thing I want you to think about is, if your day start wrong, if a conversation goes wrong, if you get bad news, if, oh my God, it's too hot, I can't function, well, don't go outside, right? Like, stop. So I want you guys to think about the power of pause in your day. And maybe that's something that you do. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. I became really busy over the past few months, and I was feeling drained. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I love what I do. I'm a coach, and I'm having at least 6 to 8 conversations a day with a client. That could be draining. And I realized that what I needed to do was readjust my schedule. And I created myself this window from 1 to 3, my lunch break every day, 1 to 3. And what do? Because I realized at 6 o'clock some days I hadn't even seen the sun come out. I didn't even see the sun. I don't know if all of you have happened, right? When you work in Zoom meeting, You don't even see the sun. So I gave myself a 2-hour break. I go for a walk. I go pick up the mail. I go get my son. I come back. I make myself lunch. I recharge. I do my little game on the phone that I'm addicted to. It's called Match Factory. And, and then when I start again at 3 o'clock, great, I'm a reset. So I want to encourage you guys to find what works for you. But I do have a quick journaling exercise that I'm going to share with you, and let me paste it in the chat for you. So what I want you to think about is one of the biggest things we talked about was managing your thoughts. And this is the beginning. Put it in the chat for you. Okay. So this is the beginning to managing your thoughts. We talked earlier about the fact that your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings define your actions. They're also going to determine how you view the situation, how you show up for people. So what I want you to think about is to realize that you have the power to stop and kind of reframe. So what I want you to think about is be aware of what's happening right now. Hey, what's happening? What's impacting my energy? Write it down. How am I viewing the situation? How do I want to experience this? Is there a different outcome I could create for myself? And then refine that, change your perspective. What's a different way that I can look at the situation so that I could reset my day and move forward? So I want you to think about maybe the journaling exercise isn't for you, but maybe that 1 hour break. You all have something that recharges your energy. Maybe it's a song. Maybe there's a song that when you hear it, you're like, oh, you're in the mojo again. Or maybe it's breathing. Maybe it's calling your sister, your brother, whatever it is. I want you to think about what charges your energy. And when you're feeling that energy drain, go to that. Recharge yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve to be in a better position where you can make those conscious choices and move forward. And I know I share a lot to do today with you. And I do want to tell you a little bit about, before we, start wrapping up, and I'll give this back to Ronnie, is there is something called the Energy Leadership Assessment. I want to show you what that looks like real quick. So this is work that I do with clients, and it's called, it's an online assessment. It's about 20 minutes. And it actually shows you how your energy shows up at any given moment. It shows us the filters that you develop, and it uncovers your thinking, your perception of situations, and what holds you back. And what you see on top is your energetic profile on any given day. And when you see on the bottom is how you react to stressors. As you can see, for this particular style, when they're in a stressful situation, they leverage level 1 and 2 more. But when they're in a given day, look at that, they're at 4, 5, 6. So this is called the Energy Leadership Assessment, and it is part of a breakthrough power session that I do. It's a 1.5 to 2 hour session that I offer with clients. It is how I sometimes start working with clients. So you take the assessment, you and I get on a call for about 90 minutes. We go over your assessment, and then we'll give you the results and create a plan in how you can action. And the assessment was actually given in Forbes gave it as the number 3 assessment that all leaders should take. And I'm going to share with you that Forbes article so that you see it. But it is one of, if you think of Myers-Briggs, DISC, and all of those incredible assessments, they compare that to the energy leadership, to those assessments, and how effective it is for leaders. And usually I charge $500 for that session. But for a limited time, for everyone that's here today, 2 things I'm going to gift you. One is I'm going to give you a complimentary call with me to support you, to see what it will be like to work with me. So I'm going to give you the link in the chat. And second, if you wanted to experience the Energy Leadership Assessment, I will give that to you for only $297. It is not, I'm going to say the only reason I do that is because it's the cost of the assessment, but the work is much more powerful than that. So let me give you a couple of links, and I'll open it up for questions. So here's the link to that Forbes article. that I think you'll definitely enjoy. And I'm also going to give you the link to my calendar. If you decided to get in a conversation with me and explore what would it be like to work with me, and love to gift you that. I know we each are, face different challenges in our lives, and sometimes having coaching, oh my goodness, it has helped me incredible. So I appreciate you all for letting me entertain yourself, Rodney, for the time. I'm so grateful, and I hope that you're taking away some tools that are going to help you manage your energy. And I'll give it back to you, and I'll stay around for any questions. Thank you all.
Perfect. Great job, Gina. Give it up for Gina Martin, everyone.